Hello, this is Sean Webb with Athletic Motion Golf. In today's video, we look at one of the more common differences in the way that professional and amateur golfers move their right arm throughout the swing. Okay, here we are with a PGA Tour player, and we'll go ahead and look at the right elbow metric here at the bottom of the screen under joint angles. And he's at 12 degrees at address, was basically just a relaxed right arm with a slight amount of fold to it. And as he goes back, you're going to see that angle gradually increases as he makes his way to the top of the swing and maxes it out as the club transitions around 76 degrees. Now what you're going to see here on the way down is that angle is going to start expanding, and almost immediately in transition the angle widens to create a wide-ish path of the hands here down to the ball. You can see it continues to increase, and at impact that angle has reached 21 degrees, so not quite as straight as it was at address, but it's nearing that position and actually doesn't reach the straightest point until right here when the right arm is about parallel in the follow through. So that covers the PGA Tour motion. Let's go ahead and look at our amateur player. We wanted to highlight one of the key movement patterns we see with amateur players, and this is by no means the only one we see, but one of the more common, and it starts out at address with basically a straight or locked out right arm with 1 degree of elbow bend, in contrast to a more bent right arm with a tour player. And the main difference you're going to see here is as he goes to the top, he's going to flex the right arm maxed out at about 130 degrees, as opposed to that 75 to 76 range with the tour player. His elbow starts to expand, but because it was severely bent at the top, it doesn't expand to the width of the tour player here in this halfway mark in the downswing. But he does expand it at the bottom, has a slight scooping action here at the ball, and then reaches maximum extension of the right arm like halfway here in the follow through, and the arm is about parallel to the ground. So let's go ahead and look at these two side by side now. Okay, here we are with both players together so we can kind of highlight different points of the swing. Like I said, at address, 11.4 for the professional golfer, 1 degree of bend in the right arm for the amateur. And as you go back here, we'll go to left arm parallel. The professional golfer only has 38 degrees, and what you're going to see from the amateur is basically doubling that amount already in the swing. And as they take it to the top, professional golfer adds a few more degrees to 75 degrees. The amateur bends to 129. Now, let's go to the transition look here, and I wanted to spin these golfers around just to see these different transitions. And one of the issues that this overly bent right arm can cause, see the professional golfer starting to widen that arm. We'll go to left arm parallel again. He's at 60 degrees right there. And for the amateur with the overly bent right arm, you're going to see a much different transition, very steep. And we'll go back to face on again to look at the last phase of the downswing. You're going to see the professional golfer maintain a wide arc with the hands, which is going to keep this club head inside the path of the hands until later in the downswing where he's going to have his release happen. We'll stop here where the hands are about in front of the trail thigh, and you're going to see the amateur golfer, because he has such a narrow hand path, this club is going to flee out much sooner, and you would say cast, and have a much more scooping impact position into the ball, affecting impact, dynamic loft, etc. So let's stop at the same place. They actually have about the same elbow bend at this point, but we know it's how they got there that makes all the difference. And we'll go to impact with the professional. He's still got 22 degrees of bend, allowing him to get more open with his body, and the amateur at 12. And then we know they're about equal on the way through. So that is the pros versus amateurs with the right elbow bend. Let us know if there's any other pros versus amateurs you'd like to see, and we would be happy to cover it. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Pros versus Ams. Although there are some other poor movement patterns that amateurs tend to fall into when it relates to the motion of the right arm, we thought that the key highlighted was one of the most common and would be most beneficial to you. See you in the next video.